So we have 9 right on the money. So I think we should just get started. This will be recorded for those who weren't able to join us live for this event. So I just want to take the opportunity and thank everybody who's joining us for this live event. This is our very first live event that we are doing together, both Lucy and myself. And you know, the content we've chosen is around holding grace. We hope to continue with these live events on a regular basis as we know and understand that we are at such a place in our evolution where the desire for peace and the desire for stillness and even perhaps solitude is being communicated very loud and clear by our souls. So this is a collective yearning, I sense, as we are all becoming more sensitive to the world around us, the emotions of others, and hearing now the voices of many. So many of you here have been on your own personal healing journey and are ready to up-level to yet an even higher level of consciousness and state of being. And this is why Lucy and I chose our topic of holding grace. So our commitment to our healing opens us up to release what doesn't serve us well and allows for the essence of grace to come through. And grace comes when we are available, open-minded, but more importantly, open-hearted. Or should I say, we become aware of the grace when we have done all those things. So I'd like to take a few minutes to give you a little bit of background of Lucy and myself. Lucy and I met through a brilliant master teacher based out of New Zealand. It's a group where so much wisdom and teachings are shared with us and are very much valued. We are so grateful and thankful for Heather, who is also a technical genius in helping us with this event. So I'd like to, first of all, introduce you to Lucy. Now, Lucy, we may speak in her native language as well, with a translation available to follow. And just being in Lucy's presence and listening to her beauty will certainly lift you up. So Lucy, if you want to go ahead and, you know, tell something about yourself, your journey, what you offer, love to hear.
Okay. Hello everybody. Thank you, Sandra, be here. My teacher Heda, thank you very much, and he bless you all. My name is Lucy. I live in New Zealand. I'm from Brazil. I live in New Zealand about 10 years. I live in beautiful Queenstown, and I started learning massage about 9 years ago. And I learned all the types of massage. And after feeling I need to learn a little bit more, and I started Reiki 1, Reiki 2, family constellation, healing, Maori Healing. And this year I have a very special, and I went to Taiwan for learning Star Magic, level 1, level 2, Blue Star, and then it's just fluid. I work for deep healing. My English still improved. I still all right here. Hope so everybody feeling my energy, you know. Yeah, the healing changed my life, changed my family. Now I learning how to protect myself, my family, my house, in my self-love first time, and then heal lots of people. The healing, the healing energy can be help you to clean away to anxious, stress, negative energy cords, energy blocks, trauma, past life, or chakras release, blocks the chakras or replace all the chakras, organ or cell. Is sometimes when I have a client, I ask for opening the heart, and I ask my client herself, showing me something I don't know. Because the client already say for me what he's want to change, what he's wanting fix or anything. But when I connect to him, I ask him showing me something what I don't know. And sometimes in the show something different feel, something the aura or chakras. And sometimes I see you something coming out in the ears, sometimes crystal, sometimes just the chords, the energy. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I pass for you, Sandy.
Thank you, Lucy.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. You've done a lot of studies, and
Yeah.
and I have as well. I've through my own, personal tragedies, I've moved. I was on a quest for healing my personal self. Like, I was really committed to my own healing journey. And through that, I've also learned many different modalities. I studied 4 years of energy medicine. I work a lot with the Akashic Records, Reiki Master as well. So I've done many different things with the ultimate goal. Through that process, of course, my own healing, which I continue always to work on, but I was able to start helping others and sort of now, transitioning to that and transferring that, working with clients, that knowledge and like you said, sometimes you just see things, within a person. And it just kind of comes through, and you just kind of work with whatever kind of comes to you as far as what that person needs at the time. And I think the whole idea is just really releasing a lot of this, like you said, negative emotion, just, I call it shadows. That's kind of my work. I do a lot of shadow work, and just beliefs that we have that really alters our perception. So, through this journey, I'm able now to really recognize grace in my life and become very much aware of it. So I'm very grateful for that, for sure. And again, grace comes when we're available, open-minded, but more importantly, open-hearted. Or should I say, we become aware of the grace. We are all those things. So I guess what is grace? We can start there. And as far as the definition, you Google definition, I'll just read that. It's grace has been defined as the divine influence which operates in humans to regenerate and sanctify, to inspire virtuous impulses, to impart strength, to endure trial and reset temptation, and as an individual virtue of excellence, of divine origin. So grace has also been referenced as the breath of God, the breath of the divine. And when I heard that description, I thought to myself, yes, that is it. That is it. For me, that is what it is. It's like the breath that just runs through you. And it's just leaves you in awe sometimes. So, grace, well, I guess I can define grace. Let's go into an example, okay? So Let's say you're at work and you got a couple coworkers coming in the lunchroom and they're just complaining about another fellow coworker and just kind of going back and forth. And, you know, you can just sit there and just, when you're at that place where you can hold grace, you can sit there, you can just observe. You can simply observe. And in that stillness, you're not opinionated, you're not reactive to it, you're not participating, you can just hold grace, if you understand what I mean there. So just when you work at your own healing and transmute your own shadows, your frequency and level of consciousness rises. And it's in that state of consciousness, you become more aware. You become more of an observer instead of an active participant. So that's, you know, how I define it. I mean, when you're at a higher level of consciousness and you can just simply observe things, it's really quite powerful when you just feel that neutrality within you, and it's just holding that space for someone, or holding grace is how I describe it. So keeping present to that you know, moment where you are guided to act in some way or another through grace will be so healing for somebody, or and it's just beautiful when you can recognize. And I guess, Lucy, maybe you can explain or, you know, just how you define grace.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sandy. For me, I think just open heart is surrender. For, you know, all the clients came here say, just open your heart, you know, coming for you what you ready for ready for the day, and all the miracle happening, because the miracle happens from your heart, you know, for your head. When you turn off here, you open your heart, everything flowing. And that's happy for deep healing, not just you go many healing, but you clean the chakras, but next day you come back all full heart, because you don't move any trauma, all the energetic level.
Right. Yeah. Yep. I agree. And I mean, both yourself and we both offer a pathway to reach that transcendent level where you are able to accept grace, to recognize grace, and to work with grace in your life. And it's such a powerful healing tool. And grace is so transformative. The essence of it alone may frighten some away. Once you are aware of the grace in your life and the grace around others, you will never be the same, honestly. And I guess that's the part that kind of frightens people sometimes. So I guess, you know, in this group, I would love to be able to talk about how, you know, the grace in our own lives. So some of the experiences, so that we could potentially explain some of the grace, and or through the experiences that we've had. I know I've had quite a few, and even the last little while, that it's like you just recognize that grace. And if you have any particular experience you want to share, Lucy?
Yes,
where you've experienced? Yeah,
yes, okay. Okay, I have one client, she's booked for healing massaging, but she's never healing before. And then when she's here, I ask you what she's want. She say, have accident before, have sore leg. And she's the same time she's have divorce, accident the car, lots going on for her life, but she's not saying nothing for me, just say you need to relax. And when they start to massage, she started to cry, and they release all the painful she's carrying on for. After 1 month later, she's come back for another healing, and she's tell me how is the healing change her life. She said she's having 3 new jobs, part-time jobs, because before she's having 3 kids, no more husband. she's need to find the job. When she's coming here, open her heart, and she's crying, release all the painful. She's open, she surrender for the life. She say, I'm tired, I'm ready. And she say how it's changed her life. I don't did nothing, but she's intention is so powerful, and she's changed. She's come back here, say, look, I have a 3 part-time job, and I have new boyfriend. It's changed all my life. You know,
Wow.
I'm very happy for her, and they still release, still, you know, open all the spiritual.
Mm-hmm. So through that open mind, that open heart, you know, the grace was flowing through her life. That's beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. So myself, I can share some pretty like some personal experiences with grace, and I guess, you know, okay. So quite some time ago, you know, I used to have a bad habit. I used to smoke, and I was sitting on my steps in the evening outside, and all of a sudden I heard a voice, and it was just so loud and clear, is you need to quit smoking, you need to quit eating chicken and pork. I'm like, okay, like it was so loud, but I just felt it come over me. And I'm like, okay, you know, and I went to bed that evening, and I woke up. I was transformed. I was not even, I didn't even have an issue. I didn't crave anything. My diet drastically changed in an instant, and it didn't even bother me. It didn't affect me in any way. And to me, that was grace flowing through me and all around me. It was just amazing. And then, you know, recently, for those in Canada, you'll understand this, but just a couple of weeks ago, I had this other voice come in and say, okay, you need to stop doing the Tim Hortons thing. Like, so you need to stop Tim Hortons. Okay, so this is a coffee shop that we have, the drive-through in Canada, and I mean, it's people's lives here. Like, it's really, really. I don't know if you have Starbucks in New Zealand or anything like that. It's kind of to that degree. So I just heard again, I need to stop Tim Hortons. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, is this really me? Like, or is this me telling myself something? Like, it was really, because Tim Hortons, really, I'm thinking. But, you know, when I think about it, it's like, yeah, you know what? There's a sugar in my tea. You know, perhaps the breakfasts aren't so healthy. So, you know, I was questioning it a little bit. But then I woke up the next morning, my daughter brought me a tea from Tim Hortons. And I'm like, I can't drink this. And I really felt I couldn't drink it. It was so powerful. And I'm like, wow, that's grace again, you know, showing up in my life. And then about a month ago, I guess, I had this experience in one of the fast food restaurants. I was grabbing, you know, a veggie burger. I was visiting someone in the hospital. And this woman came in, and she was not very pleasant to the person serving her. And I remember turning around and thinking, wow, like, you know, I almost felt like I needed to say something to make the other feel better, but I just kind of observed, and I walked away with it. And then I was reading an audiobook by Carolyn Myss, and I just love Carolyn Myss. And she talked about our field of grace. And in that moment, she said, you know, if you were to actually go to that person and put your hand in their field of grace, you would never be able to judge someone again. If you could just feel the field of grace around people, it would just change everything for you. You would never judge that person. And, you know, so it's very powerful. And I feel it's more like a substance, like something you could feel and touch. You could almost feel the grace around people. And it just allowed me to just really, again, be in that observer mode, just taking in the beauty of each and every soul is you know how I viewed it. And that's just some of my experiences. I've experienced so much grace in my life. It's I'm very blessed and blessed to be aware of it, because again, once we start becoming aware of it, and that's through our own personal healing, you know, it allows us to become more aware of it, is where we can, you know, really, really, really open our hearts, and it's just beautiful. So I guess, you know, if I'd love to hear another one of your experiences with grace, Lucy, or one of your healing, you know, one of your healing moments.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't come nothing. I don't remember nothing now. I want to say I want to blessing all the my clients is so beautiful. All the clients different every time is the healing all different, come different, and they release something different.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes. So you're able to kind of tune into their what their needs are when
yes.
you're working with them. Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I worked with a client a few months back that was having a terrible, what are they called? Night terrors. And I was just able just to be still with it and just to be with that person. And we did a healing. And she's been living with this for almost 30 years. And she was able to, after that evening was her last night terror. So it was beautiful. But I felt the grace flowing through me to be able to work with her to do that. It was beautiful. So I guess I'd love to see if anybody had any questions who is listening, who is with us today. If there's any questions, or if there's a story you'd like to share about the grace that you've experienced in your life, or how you first became aware of the grace in your life. If there's anybody that would love to share, we'd certainly love to hear from you. I can as well. You know, again, back to Carolyn Miss as one of my favorite teachers. You know, she's talked about the 7 graces, and she's doing an upcoming event about grace, and that's coming up in October, I believe, or December, in Vancouver, in Canada. So wouldn't be so far for me to go see her, but probably not going to be able to. So I can certainly share what she's written about grace, and she's written about the 7 graces. So I'm going to go through that for a few moments, and again, if there's questions, please don't hesitate to put them up for us. So the 7 graces, the first one she talks about is the grace of wisdom. So this grace, in its purest form, reveals guidance about who you are, how you are living, and how you are using the power of your creative soul, which is a much different perspective than that of human reason. So reason seeks personal justice as if we have been wronged in some way. Wisdom assumes that no action is intended by the divine to harm us, yet all actions must include the active ingredients of human consciousness in that constant balancing of yin and yang, the positive and the negative. The grace of wisdom also expresses itself through the experience of personal revelation. The grace of wisdom comes to everyone, not only to highly evolved souls with big followings. Wisdom dictates that the more you are seen, the less noise you should make. So wisdom is the choice that recognizes pain and suffering as part of the human experience. It is inevitable that we will cause each other to suffer in some way. It is wise to recognize yourself in everyone else. So seek the wise responses in all events in your life. So that's about wisdom. So one of the graces she speaks about, another one of the graces she speaks about is the grace of knowledge. So the grace of knowledge in its purest form manifests through us as a revelation about the nature of the divine. In rare instances, one can have a revelation of knowledge directly from God. Revealed knowledge does not just come through saints and mystics. Revealed knowledge is given to those who are vessels of service to humanity in ways great and small. This is the grace that draws us inward toward the purest of the knowledge of God, as it expresses itself through our inner yearnings and personal mysteries that cannot be solved or satisfied by the riches of the world. So another one of the graces she talks about is counsel. So at its highest level, the grace of counsel grounds mystical truths with human reason. The grace of counsel seeks truth, so we must ask what precisely we mean by truth. So we must ask, truths are consistent and universal, never changing, applying equally to everyone. Mathematics is a universal science with fundamentals that are constant and universal. The laws of physics and nature, such as gravity, cause and effect, magnetism, and the rhythm of tides, are constant. Included in this category are the mystical truths that are also constant and universal, such as the energy principles of yin and yang, as well as these. What is one is in the whole. As above, so below. Within every physical event is hidden a symbolic counterpart that represents the higher or cosmic purpose for the event. What goes around comes around, a truth also known as the law of karma. Forgiveness is the great healer of the soul, and the truth will set you free. Energy precedes the creation of matter, and thought precedes form. So that's about counsel, the grace of counsel, which I thought was quite interesting. I'm also going to talk about the grace of fortitude. And I hear that word so much, fortitude. The grace of fortitude refers to a quality of courage that goes well beyond the kind associated with standing up for ourselves. Or even as the dictionary defines fortitude, the strength to bear misfortunes or pain calmly and patiently. The grace of fortitude is essential for those who have awakened, for example, to the challenges of their highest spiritual potential. So when you're working with the field of fortitude, you may end up in a situation in which you have no choice but to help out. Some form of humiliation is often part of the picture. So if you face obstacles that will humiliate you while you're trying to ground your vision into daily reality, the reason for humiliation is mystical in that you are forced to relinquish your personal vision of how something should be accomplished, allowing for the divine's plan to be set in motion. Through some unforeseen turn of events that usually that you could have never anticipated. The success may not be huge by earthly standards, but following the humiliation, if you continue with fortitude in the face of adversity, inevitably the most appropriate expression of success will unfold. And then there's the grace of understanding. So the ego views understanding on the personal level as the ability to listen clearly to what someone is saying, or conversely, as the need to be heard clearly by others. The grace of understanding, in contrast, grants us the capacity to transcend matters transpiring at the personal level. This grace opens our capacity to see beyond the illusion of a circumstance and understand the deeper truth of what is really taking place. Like all graces, understanding and its fruit, common sense, are not self-serving, but you elicit your capacity to serve others. They are forces that rebuild your life so that you can help others heal. There is no end to the influence of grace that can have in your life, but no grace can be commanded. You invoke its power through prayer, and released into your life to penetrate your situation, not to make the situation go away, but to heighten your spiritual senses in response. And finally, the grace of piety. The classic meaning of piety is devotion to God. Piety seeks that which is divine in others. Piety is a grace that brings out spiritual instincts, such as sensing that someone is in need of kindness or nurturing. It is a grace that draws us to interact with those in need and to give generously to those in an earlier time would have been viewed as competitors. Another expression of the grace of piety is to want to give the best of your inner resources to help illuminate another who turns to you for guidance. You call on piety when you feel yourself slipping into a dark power play with another person, or when you fear that you are becoming contaminated by negative thoughts about others. The grace of piety immediately shifts how you view another, enabling you to see with a softer heart. So I thought that they were great, the 7 graces. I feel, calling upon those graces in a sense, or prayer is so important when you're going through difficult situations. Just to pray for grace to flow through. I've seen it help diffuse situations. I've seen it, with myself working with clients. You know, a lot of my work is to help clients obtain their own awareness, you know, about maybe things that are going on in their lives that are causing them, you know, to have some pretty tough emotions, and, you know, just calling upon grace to help them see clearly, because part of healing is to become aware of, you know, that's the first thing you need to do, is become aware of, you know, what is troubling you, what is causing pain, what is causing your suffering. As soon as you're able to become aware, then you're able to, you know, work through it, obviously with assistance and guidance. So, you know, if anybody has any questions about that, I mean, certainly, Lucy, if you want to expand on that at all, you're certainly welcome to join in. What stood out for you in the 7 graces? What, you know, what stood out for you?
It's beautiful, everything you say. I just completely, in the morning, every morning I say for facilitate the happy life, you know, if my life coming easily and the happy and the glory every morning. Sometimes I need to cut all the cords from me 2 times per day, because sometimes you go to the supermarket, pick up something, somebody else, you know, yours. You need to ask, that's mine? No, don't cut all for the lights, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's sort of your daily routine, is to just really clear, cleanse, just ground, and that's of mine as well. Yeah, absolutely. Connect. That's I do that probably several times in a day, I guess, because I'm very sensitive to energy, and the energy of others. And I know myself, you know, whenever I start to feel a little off or a little bit of anxiety, then I have to, you know, just kind of come back to center, and really, like you said, cut cords and really just ground in the energies, and just, you know, build up my energy field and just breathe it through, you know. So I do that quite often throughout the day. And sometimes, you know, I always do it at nighttime as well, before bed, certainly. I would love to just, again, take any questions. And, you know, Lucy, as far as, just tell me more about what you're doing. Like, are you in a shop, or are you in your home? Like, where are you offering your healing services?
Can be here in Queenstown. I have a room, and they all can be online too. Mm-hmm. The client can send the photo and they book the time, and they will do the healing. Yeah, I do the Maori Healing. Can be online too. I use all the stones and the chakras for clean all the blocks, the energy.
Okay, so Maori Healing, that's how you refer to it. Can you tell me a little bit more about what that is? Yeah, for those that might not understand that?
Yeah, the Maori Healing work for the souls, and when you clean up all the blocks, sometimes you have it painful in the body. You can clean up all the blocks, the energy, the fluid, all the body, the energy fluid for all the body.
Okay. All right, and is that more something that's New Zealand? Like, is that healing is yeah, okay.
Yes, yes. Maori Healing is from New Zealand. Normally, I connect from all the Maori Healing, and they just happening when they put in my hands. I ask for what the client need, what I think, and I put my ego under the bed.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything is coming, everything. Sometimes my hands go where I need to go,
Right.
and I feel in my hands is hot. Sometimes my mouth open, release everything.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need to replace some chakras.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty much in person, right?
Yes.
You do one-on-one with your client.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, do you do any online type of healing, like through one-on-one, through like kind of a Zoom or
Yes.
Messenger? You do as well, yeah.
Yeah, you can do online. Online, you just lay down in the bed. I connect with you. I ask you what you want to release or what you, and then I turn it off. I do the healing here, and the people receive sometimes different level. Can be the organ, blocks the energy in the body, in the opening or the chakras. The same, you be here in the.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I as well do. Most of it is online for myself, or through phone as well. When I do one-on-one, it's more when I'm doing inner child work or any type of regression. It's something I do one-on-one more so. I do some hands-on as well, but I used to, some of the online I could do with a circuit as well. So again, it's just being really open to what the client needs and just releasing, helping them release. And again, the ultimate goal, I think, for everybody is to be in that space where we become just really open and neutral and aware of the grace around us. It's really beautiful. So I love when clients transition to that state, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know how the happening, just happening. The hand is fluid, go where I need to go, and
Yeah. Having trust and faith.
Yes.
Trust and faith. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so you have a young family?
Yes. Yes, I have 5 kids. The big one is 25. And the old 17, 7, 5, 2 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're busy.
Yes.
So obviously, your personal journey of healing has been so beneficial to your family life as well, and so that must be amazing for you and your kids. How do they look at what you do? How do they? What did they say about you? What did they say about mom?
The little kids love it, massage, love the healing. And then my 5 years old, she's very sensitive. Before the client coming for healing, she's started feeling something. Oh, my little girl started grumpy or screaming or something. And then my 5 years old, she's very grumpy last week. I say, oh, that's not my girl. No, she's different, punch everybody. Then I say, oh, you need healing. I put she's here for healing. She's sleepy. In 2 minutes, she's sleepy. And it's so beautiful. I want to work for the kids too. And my boy love it too. I teach my boy do the massage to the Sophia. And he's loving, help for all the get the stone, when they do the hot stone, everybody.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's great. So yeah, it's definitely, I see it in my girls as well. Just the shifts in them, their own personal journey, has been amazing. Of course, as a parent, you kind of have to let them make their own choices, and sometimes you're like kind of clenching your teeth saying, oh, I don't know, but you got to let them live their life and make their own decisions. And it's really wonderful, just hearing some of the dialogue, that how they're speaking, how they're you know interacting with others, and how they're growing. My middle daughter, she went to New Zealand. She spent 4 months there backpacking through New Zealand, and she did some, I think it's called woofing. Woofing, is that what you call it? Woofing? Have you heard of that term?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's what she said they were doing. They were doing some woofing, and then they were just working, doing the trails, and she came back very very transformed. It was being out in nature that time she was away. Really opened a lot for her, and I've seen tremendous shifts in her, and so it's very healing journey for them for that 4 months. So it's great, and I'd love to myself get to New Zealand one of these days. I know it's going to happen soon. So I guess we're coming down to a few more minutes left, and I think it would be great to share some more awarenesses of the grace in our lives, just to give people examples, because I feel just by hearing others' examples of grace working through, it just allows us to open up to seeing the grace around us at all times. So I don't know, Lucy, if you have another story you can potentially share about where you really felt the presence of grace in your life, and maybe it was a personal situation, maybe it was, with your family, or maybe just, potentially with a client. But if you have another story you can maybe share, I think that's going to help those who listen to this now and potentially later understand and become aware of grace working through us.
For me, when they did the Maori Healing, I think it opened all my gifts, and it's very powerful, Maori Healing for me. And if I have a client that have depression, and she's all the time she starts stronger, and it's so beautiful. All the clients, for next step, and for just simple things, you coming for relax, open heart, and everything happening.
Beautiful.
I invite everybody for have a healing or massage. That's very important for the mind, for the spiritual. Everything is beautiful.
Yeah. And thank you for just sharing your beautiful essence presence through this as well. I can't wait to come to New Zealand and get a healing from you. It's exciting. Hopefully it won't be too long, and I'll definitely be down. But I invite anybody to share an experience of grace that flow in their life. So perhaps who do we got here? Let's see who can come out here, because everybody's a little shy, and I really would love this format to be a little bit more open about sharing people's experiences of grace. So I'm gonna, if you're not comfortable, that's totally fine. But I would love to, perhaps even Denise, if you would like to share, if you can hear me. I know you probably can, but even if you could share, I know you've had lots of grace in your life. We talk about it as well. Denise is a poet. She writes beautiful, beautiful words, which is sharing grace with everyone. But Denise, I'd love to hear.
Hello, everyone. Blessings to you all.
Okay.
I'm having some strange issues with my video, so I'm not sure why it keeps going in and out, but can you all hear me?
We can hear you perfectly, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
wonderful. I want to thank you and Lucy for this wonderful platform. You both embody grace.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. So one of my experiences, oh my gosh, I've had so many. Much like yourself, Sandra, I had an experience in my life where I heard that voice, that voice that sometimes speaks very loudly and sometimes softly. And for me, I've struggled with alcohol addiction over the course of my life. And I'm going to say probably about 3 years ago, by the grace of God, is the way I like to say it. Basically, the addiction was gone. And now I've done a lot of healing on my own and with you to get to that place. However, there was something so deep and so strong and so true that I couldn't attribute it to anything else but divine grace.
Right.
And so that's probably the most powerful experience for me, and grateful beyond words for that.
Yes.
And because of that, my entire life has opened up. My writing has changed. The actual, well, you've read many of my writings. Before it would come from a place of mind. And now pretty much everything that I write comes from heart space.
Sure does.
So for that, I'm very grateful.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that, Denise.
You're welcome.
I know we talk regularly. We share stories of grace in our lives on a regular basis. So it was wonderful that you can come on this platform and share that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I wouldn't have missed it.
Yeah, wonderful. And I'd love again to call upon anybody else. We probably have time for one more person if they would love to share a story about grace. Please come forward. I mean, we've got some great people on. Tracy, I'm sure you have lots of great stories if you'd love to share one. Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to put you on the spot. I didn't mean to put you on the spot at all, but I know that you just have some wonderful things to share.
I do, but I just gone blank. The grace. I've had many over the years where I've been touched by grace. My most recent, I can actually, our manga, our mountain. So those that know me, I can see sometimes, but I was a little bit out of sorts, and by I don't know, I saw Jesus again. He's appearing again.
Yeah.
So for me, that's
That's definitely grace.
Yeah. Very
That's
much.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I think it really is very helpful when we absolutely can share stories about the grace in our lives. It just opens us up more for, you know, just to become aware. And you know, I'm certainly I'm very much aware of it all the time, and I teach my kids to become aware of it as well. And you know, it's such a blessing. So at this time, we just love to, you know, thank everybody who has listened to us, who has joined us live. This is a recorded event. I'd like to thank our biggest cheerleader, Heather, for coordinating this all for us. We would love to continue and to do this more often. Potentially once a month or once every couple of months. And I'd love to get more participation in sharing stories. So thank you, Heather. Very, very grateful from the bottom of our hearts. You know, Lucy, did you want to add anything else?
I want to say just thank you very much. Thank you for you. Thank you for Reda.
Yeah.
And they bless you all.
Well, our information will be on our page. Other information, if you wanted to contact Lucy for to share some you know, with her healing, available healing she has, and my information will also be up there for anybody who would like to contact us in any way. Again, thanking everybody who has come live, and for all those that will be watching this later. Just much gratitude and blessings to everyone. So thank you. I think that